This is the single least prepared and unprofessional way I have ever come into work.
How's it feel?
It is freeing, but I'm afraid. Because I don't know where we're going to end up because I don't know anything that happened in sports this weekend. Nothing.
Oh, you missed a good one. I think I like sports again.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the greatest weekend in the history of sports.
Okay.
But I got you covered, and it seems like Mike has you covered because I was glued and I was watching everything.
I watched so much sports this weekend, you guys. I love it.
All right, so you guys are going to need to reintroduce me to sports today with all of your enthusiasms and childlike joys, and you've got to tell me excitedly about the things that you saw because I don't know anything. I'm coming in here. I was in the woods. I couldn't get reception on anything. I know nothing.
Well, you had maybe the greatest World Series game that's ever been played. The greatest game certainly since Game 3 of this series. You had probably the best NFL game of the year at 4 o'clock yesterday with the Texans and the Seahawks, and maybe the best college football game of the year. I mean, you had it all. You had it all.
All right, hold on a second. Hold on. Help me out here.
But you were in the woods.
That is correct. All right, let me explain this to you. I was in the woods, cabining it. That is not me, obviously, and I had no connection to anything electronic. And so I want to go through today excitedly was the best college football game of the year the UM game?
No.
What?
No, like I'm telling
Carolina game?
No, but I'm like,
that was a dreadful football game.
That may have been the worst game of the year.
Well, but did Miami win?
Yes.
It was a win that was a loss. It felt like a loss.
Who are you talking to?
You didn't even know. Yeah, Miami's still undefeated.
Yeah.
But they beat a terrible 1-7 North Carolina team barely by 5.
Guys, do you realize what this is going to be fun? This is going to be fun today because
I love it.
Watch how these connections that we have to these devices. Watch how quickly I fall behind on everything just after a weekend of football because I've got a gap of information missing. Watch how quickly I feel like I'm trailing everybody by a million miles because I don't know anything that's happened.
On the bright side, you miss out on possibly the worst college football broadcast of all time. So I envy you being in that cabin.
Hold on. What happened in the Miami game?
They barely won.
Because North Carolina's terrible. North Carolina,
they're really bad. They were down to their third-string quarterback, who is fat, by the way. I should add that. The broadcasters knew nothing, and by nothing, I mean they made Braxton Berrios a black man. Rozier was hurt. We think he went to the locker room. We didn't really get an explanation.
Well, hold on.
Rick came out and said his shoulder was banged up.
Towards the end of the game, right?
No, it was early in the game,
but
the
broadcasters
broadcasters had no idea.
Wait a minute. Okay, wait a minute. Help me out here. I want to do today's entire show where it's just you guys explaining stuff to me.
All right.
And I've got a lot of questions. When I came out of the woods, I got a text from Mike that fell through the woods somehow, and it just said Rozier benched. What happened there?
Rozier was benched according to the broadcasters, who just didn't notice that Rozier went to the locker room, and then when he came back to the locker room, the camera was fixated on a different number 12 that was not Malik Rozier, saying that person was injured, maybe. It was the worst broadcast of all time.
Guillermo, put it on the poll. Was the University of Miami, North Carolina game the worst broadcast of all time? And
you got that noon Eastern broadcast team, man. That's usually
it was Kelly Soffer.
For disaster.
Now, this was an ESPN broadcast team, so I want to be gentle when I say arguably the worst broadcast of all time.
Yeah.
So bad. I would have known what was going on better had I had the television on mute.
But it sounds like I knew what was going on better in the woods disconnected because as far as I knew, Rozier had been benched. Before you told me that, I knew he hadn't been benched.
Yeah. And then I guess the other text that I sent 12 minutes later, which was just confused at the broadcasters, didn't come through. So you just thought Rozier was benched,
that's
which
right.
is funny.
And that's it. So I came in here and that might have been the only piece of sports information I got this weekend that fell through the woods. Rozier benched. Well, first of all, Mike, I think maybe you should turn off the televisions in here because it might be more fun. I'm now seeing what seems to be
don't watch that.
A great World Series.
Great World Series. The greatest game since Game 3.
Okay. All right, but then you need to turn the televisions off in here if this is the way we're going to do the show where I just sort of follow you guys around and you tell me stuff.
Just look into my eyes, okay? Look into my eyes.
Right.
Malik Rozier was terrible. This is how bad this performance was. The Miami Hurricanes presently have the nation's longest winning streak at 12 games because USF lost over the weekend. I just broke that to you, didn't I?
What?
Yeah.
USF lost.
Was Houston this weekend?
Yeah.
Yep, they lost.
I thought they were going to get to the UCF game.
Best team in the state of Florida.
So Miami Hurricanes.
It was close, right?
Yeah, it was close.
It was a 4-point loss.
Right, but clearly that's
24.
No! Clearly it's FIU.
What happened there?
You didn't see what they did?
No.
Lane Kiffin, man. Wow.
That's FAU.
That's FAU.
Oh, FAU. I'm sorry. Who's that? Butch Davis, man. Wow.
And we won the conference in soccer, Dan. Yeah. What's up? Undefeated.
No, I heard about that, actually.
Oh, so good.
That got to me in the woods.
That was a one score that updated on ESPN.
Yeah, it was weird. It was FIU wins conference in soccer. I was like amazed. I'm like, whoa, Billy's going to be so happy.
So the Miami Hurricanes.
these woods really connected me to Billy in an emotional way. The Spirits brought an FIU result my way.
Pause up, Dan. Say it, Dan. Pause up.
Pause up.
Yeah.
So, nation's longest winning streak for the Miami Hurricanes football team. More wins than FSU and Florida combined. And you come away feeling like it's a loss. You slide in the rankings because of that terrible performance.
Hold on a second.
Wait, hold on. Speaking of Florida, they fired their head coach.
What happened there?
Oh, my God. Okay.
Wait a minute.
So much.
Wait a minute. Wait.
There's a lot that's happening with McAway.
Wait, slow down. I want this to be good and slow and last 4 hours. Hold on. This sex needs to last 4 hours. We can't be Rick Pitino around here. What the hell happened this weekend that ended with Jim McAway? Who'd they lose to?
They lost
they got blown out by Georgia, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, this is okay.
At home or at home, right?
Cocktail party, neutral site game in Jacksonville.
But that's not it's part of the reason, but there are all kinds of crazy reasons as to why he's no longer the coach.
It gets better.
Hold on. Slow down. What did Georgia do to Florida?
Oh my God.
Destroyed them.
42-7.
Okay. All right. So, and what else happened? Like, what else happened that got him fired other than that?
We're going to build up here. It was reported that Jim McElwain rebuffed several attempts by Steve Spurrier to help with the process because Jim McElwain has a handle on what's going on over at Florida. And then, midway through the world's largest outdoor cocktail party, they don't call that anymore, but whatever, they should still. You start seeing reports saying Florida's looking into firing Jim McElwain with cause because last week, Jim McElwain said he received death threats to him, his family, and his players, which led to an investigation, which turned out that was not the case. He lied about the death threats to his family, and his players. So they were looking into firing him with cause, and then they fired him pretty much once that game went final.
Yeah, the cause was Georgia beat him like that.
They negotiated a buyout well under the $12 million that he had left on his contract, and his kids found out about it on Twitter. And the Knicks beat the Cavs.
Oh, the Cavs are so bad.
Wait, what?
On the road.
You guys
on the
need
road.
to slow down.
On the road.
This is what I'm telling
on the
you.
road.
The Cavs have a worse defensive rating than Phoenix. They're the worst team.
Guys, I'm
Stan beat the Warriors on the road.
What? Wait a minute. You guys need to slow down because you're going to waste it all in the first segment. Wait a minute.
Oh, there's plenty.
The Pistons beat the Warriors at Golden State?
Yep, last night. Close out the weekend, the greatest weekend in the history of sports.
Were people not playing? How?
Draymond played, KD played, Curry played, Thompson played. They all played.
And the Falcons signed Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
No, you got I think you almost got me. All right, I was beginning to sign in here on the internet, but I'm going to try something over the course of the show today that does not feel very comfortable, but might be freeing. This is the single most unprofessional day in the history of my life. I don't know much of anything going on, and we need to talk for 4 hours. I was disconnected in the woods.
Yeah.
I want to go. I want to go to over the course of the show today. I want Guillermo and Chris and Roy and Allison to tell me the things in sports that titillated them, because I want to talk about sports with that kind of enthusiasm. Mike, you don't think it's a good idea to turn the televisions off in here?
Just look at me, baby. I got you. You're going to be shocked by this. Phillip Rivers was down 8 with the ball with about 90 seconds left and no timeouts.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he was.
How far from the end zone?
He made his way. He made his way, but he threw a pick in the end zone.
Playing the Patriots.
So the perfect scenario. So I didn't miss anything there. It's the same scenario that has been Phillip Rivers' purgatory for the last 15 years.
You can count on that every weekend. How was your weekend, by the way? Tell us about it.
I want to spend the whole week here. Like, can we do this as a research project?
If you keep going to the woods every weekend,
all right, no, but hold on a minute. I'm thinking about just like not paying attention to sports all week as a test, so I could just come in here and learn. Like, what happened? Tell me.
I've got 2 more notes here that we need to get to in this hour, real quick. Shooter McGavin got a DUI and pulled the "I'm famous." And Paul Manafort, Donald Trump's ex-campaign manager, indicted on 12 counts of conspiring against the United States. That one's new.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
just came across the wire.
Again, the Cavs lost at home to the New York Knicks.
I want to go back to the woods.